Hey everyone, we added a couple of cool new features to our value betting software and also the SGM tool yesterday, so I thought I'd make a quick video just showing you what they are and how they work. So if you've already used the value betting tool or you're familiar with it, you'll know that in order to calculate fair odds, what we do is we devig all the available bookie odds that we have, and then we average out those devigged odds. It's a wisdom of the crowd approach, and that gives us the fair odds that we use here, and we can use them to identify bookies that are offering odds that are higher than the fair odds and work out the expected value on those bets. So the newest feature that we've added is this bookie weights option. So, well, first of all, let me show you this. So if I click on the bookie count, we can see which bookies are being added into the fair odds calculation and which odds we're putting in. So for Ladbrokes at the moment, they've got the under at 172 and the over at 205. And when we remove the margin, that becomes 183 and 221. And you can see we've got all these different bookies down below, and we're averaging out all of those fair odds, or sorry, all of those devigged odds to give us our fair odds. But you're probably aware that certain bookies are what we call more sharp than others. That means that they're better at setting lines and their odds can be trusted a little bit more than others. So by default, and up until now, we have counted every bookie equally. So PlayUp's odds are just as valuable a data point as PointsBet or Ladbrokes or anyone else. With the new bookie weights option, that changes a little bit. So still by default, we're counting every bookie equally, but you can choose to actually add more weight to certain bookies. So Pinnacle's a great example. Pinnacle are well known for having very sharp odds, especially when it comes to American sports. Not so much on AFL or NRL, but if it's NBA, NFL, etc., Pinnacle are very sharp. So with the bookie weights configuration, we can say that we're going to count Pinnacle 3 times, whereas we're only counting the Ladbrokes once. And you can do that with any bookie you like. Bet Online are quite known for being sharp, so I've got them at 2. I'm counting Bet365 twice. And you can see if we look at this bet, we were 1.93. Ladbrokes were the best bet there. So if I make Ladbrokes 3, then these fair odds should go up because I think Ladbrokes was 2.05. Yeah, and you can see it has moved down the table here because obviously the EV's changed and the data's updated, but it's moved up to fair odds of 1.98. So you can see how the weights affect that, and you can now choose which bookies you want to weight more in your fair odds calculations. And this is also going to apply on the odds comparison, on the SGM tool. And you can see over here, I've got, this is just an NRL game for tomorrow with Sportsbet, and we've got our list of fair odds. We can turn this off so that we can see try scores, etc. This is the market mode of the value betting tool. But we also have these bookie weights, and you can see this is updated to 3 because I changed the bookie weights on the value betting. So you only have to change it on one and it will automatically update it on the other as well. One of the other things that we recently added was the ability to remove individual bookies from a certain fair odds calculation. So looking here, most of these bookies are in a kind of similar range. Occasionally, a bookie the odds might get stuck where they've got incorrect odds, but they haven't updated it on the front end, and we're picking that up. Sometimes our software doesn't update correctly, and you might find that there's odds here. Maybe we're picking up the wrong market, something like that. So let's say the Betway was showing as 1.21 here rather than 2.00. That would be an obvious error, either an error on the Betway side or an error on the bonus bank side. But it's going to skew your fair odds calculation, and we don't want that happening. So when you see one bookie that's obviously incorrect, you can now just click on the little X and it's going to remove it from the calculation and just use the other bookies for working that out. So that's just a little quality of life addition. It's going to make things easier when that incorrect data is coming through. And then the final thing that I wanted to show you relates to market mode. So we have a lot of markets where we've got data for part of the market, but not the other. So the most obvious explanation I can give you for that is disposals in AFL. So disposals are technically an over-under market. This one, player to get at least 10 disposals, that means it's a bet on over 9.5 disposals. But we don't have the under. So if we don't have the under, we can't calculate fair odds, which means that we would use the market mode of the value betting tool for this market. But in some cases, we do have the under. So you can see here, we've got an over and an under. So what we've done, we've made a change so that when we do have an over and an under, and we can actually calculate FAIR odds based on that, that market is going to show up in the FAIR odds mode of the value betting tool. But when we don't have the under, we'll show it in market mode. What was happening previously is that we were only showing FAIR odds when we had the under, but it meant that all of these, what they call milestone markets, over player ticket 10, player ticket 15, player ticket 20, etc., they were being excluded. So it was a lot of valuable data that we had that wasn't getting displayed on the front end of the tool. We've now put in a fix to deal with that, so that whether we've got just the over or the over and the under, we're going to be displaying that somewhere. And obviously that also feeds back into the SGN builder so that you can use those markets in finding the best SGN legs as well. So I think all three of those new additions are going to be beneficial. So I hope that you enjoy them. And yeah, I think they're going to help you make a little bit more money from the bookies. Cheers, guys.